Hey everyone, it's Joel. If you do not know me, I am the founder of the Moonlighters Club podcast. If you do know me, hello. Um, we're in a new season. It's been pretty crazy getting stuff together, but a while ago, I think 2020, I had a video basically talking about everything that had happened from 2019 through early 2020. But right now, it's 2021. July, so this will probably be live in September, I'm assuming. I got some stuff to do in August to get ready for podcast related. So where we are now is I've recorded about 15 eps, and we're ready to kick a new season off. I got plenty more that I'm planning, plenty more things that I have to do actually in this coming month regarding episodes, but we're focused. I got a new gig, new job, completely remote, new line of people to interview, new opportunities with the Moonlighters Club, and I'm ready to kick things off. So before I do, this particular episode is actually from 2019, December 2019. It was the last month that I was living in Boston, Massachusetts before I moved to Washington, D.C., where I live now. I have 3 episodes from this time frame. 2020 has got pretty sad and crazy. But the three I have from that time frame, my last month in Boston, this is the first one. I interviewed Alex Bennett. I went to school with him at Suffolk University. We've been friends for a while. We've both tried multiple entrepreneurial pursuits since we met each other. And we met up in the Boston Public Library on Boylston Street in Copley, in the media lab that they have down there. So this will be on video as well as audio. And we decided to catch up and have a Moonlighters Club interview, and it was awesome. It was good to catch up. 2 old, haggard entrepreneurship vets trying to find their way to figure things out. So as of now, Alex is actually in Colombia. I think he's living there. I'm in D.C., not Colombia, but probably twice as humid. And we're still figuring things out. So I hope you enjoy this episode. It is the beginning of a new season. Welcome. Thank you for listening. And I hope you're able to pull something from this. Thank you.
I don't moonlight as a rapper. My jersey up too high in the rafters. I got a front team, new life and attractive. Still sipping that moonshine and a plastered.
All right. Let me get my posture right. This is the first time we're using chairs like this.
All right.
Generally, it's
I'll work on my
lower.
posture. Yeah.
Lower. But everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Moonlighters Club. So I want to take some time to go back to what we do best, and that's talking to entrepreneurs who have to work, like myself. So everyone, give it up for my boy Alex Bennett. Well, I don't know how you give it up. There's no one here. But Alex and I have I've known you since 2015? Was that?
Yep.
We met at Suffolk University. Amazing institution, amazing school. But we met in the entrepreneurship program. And you are like me. It's like no matter what we were going to be doing, we weren't going to be working. Like you were the only person. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the only person I would bump into that wasn't like crushed from the weight of the world. So like, I feel like everyone who's in the entrepreneurship program, I would see like, what are you doing right now? They're like, oh man, I work at JP Morgan, man. Like I work at it.
I just remember you just having a drive and everyone wanted to talk to you about what you were doing. And you were like ahead of me. And it was inspiring to see that someone from Suffolk could do something cool because there's a lot of people in Suffolk that aren't doing anything cool. But it was just good. Definitely. I mean, if you weren't there, I would have felt even more out of place. So
yeah, man, we got a lot of comment. I think we have an interesting point of view. We both went to school later. Like I went back to Suffolk when I was 28. Yep, 28.
I was 28 when I went back as well.
I had to take freshman classes, and it was so weird, man. Because I mean, technically speaking, I'm a millennial, but like, trying to explain why like group work is important to a 20-year-old, and you're like, I get it, but I hate you. We gotta get this done.
And I think that our projects were like more important to us. So one thing that I remember connecting with you about is that it's more worth it to just do the work and just communicate with everyone instead of trying to get other people to do things that you know you're going to have to redo. And kind of this perspective of, teamwork is great, but it seems to us that we're taking it more seriously than everyone around us. And so because of that, it was more worth our time to just get things done. And so that was something that we would just joke around about, and yeah, the entrepreneurship department, I think in any university is interesting because you have some people who are actual entrepreneurs, but that is a very, very small minority of people in any entrepreneurship department. Doesn't matter if it's Suffolk or any other place, which makes for a very strange dynamic, in my opinion.
Yeah, man. Which is a funny point because you're right. Only a few people wanted to start a business like that. That was super interesting. You know what? Why'd you pick? No, go ahead.
Well, one thing is the few people that wanted to start a business, all of them have been on the Moonlighters podcast. I remember the Entrepreneurship Lounge in the summer of 2015. That was my first summer. So coming out of the military, started going to Suffolk, met Joel and John and Andres.
Yep.
And all four of us had something that we were incredibly passionate about.
Yeah.
So it was Fit Us, which I still think is amazing. With John, it was Yum Yum Picks, which was a really cool idea. He was driven, the way that guy would talk about that would inspire me. I was working on Straws, which was a company where we're making drinking straws out of straw. Before it was cool. That was 2015.
Literally no one was doing it. No one was doing it.
And Andres was developing software to connect food trucks with each other. And it was funny how that little period, and it was the summer when there was no students there.
Yep.
And it was funny that we just felt that Suffolk was more productive when it was just us. There was, not as many students around,
Yeah. So do you know why you picked entrepreneurship?
I picked it. I actually initially was doing finance. The reason I picked it is because I decided that there was nothing that was going to make me happy other than my project succeeding. And so entrepreneurship allowed me to use all of the classes as projects to work on what I was working on.
Okay.
It was really, also for me, I was, getting paid to go to school. So it was this aspect of like, I have so much time where I get this paycheck and I wanted to get Straws off the ground, which, we had a successful Kickstarter, which completed in the fall of 2015, got some customers, designed a lot of plans, did a lot of things that ended up not working out. But obviously a lot of work and learned a lot from all of that process. But yeah, that's why I chose entrepreneurship, is because it was basically, I am an entrepreneur, so I might as well choose the subject matter that is what I'm doing. This is pretty much how that worked.
When you were doing something, did you jump? Because I know you were always working on something on the side.
Yep.
Did you jump right into work right after?
Yeah, a week later. I started at Site Spect, which is really close to, it's about 200 yards from Suffolk University. It's a startup that is an e-commerce personalization engine. And I was a business development representative for about 6 months there.
Okay.
So it's basically like, I interviewed a lot at the last semester of college, just seeing where I would go. And then it just happened that they were always like, well, you can start, but I still finishing classes. And then, so I just got a call basically right before I graduated. And, sometimes I do well in interviews, and it was a pretty good job. And I did that for 6 months. And then I moved into a job as a solutions consultant in a closing role. So that was a draw for me to move from one company to the other. And I was there for about a year. So that was a solutions consultant. It was a demanding job. I had 110 accounts that were of all kinds. We did document management and data analysis, really crowded space. The company is called Simtrax. Their product is garbage. I'm not going to lie. That's one thing you get out of me is honesty.
How miserable were you working? Because Alex suffers what most of our guests suffer, and I suffer from, is being too smart for our own damn good. And your thing is, you're that guy who, if you said something really stupid, he's just going to people back like, actually, no, that's an awful idea. So what was that like in the workforce? You'd already started Straws. You'd already done a ton of work.
And I'd been in the military as an aircraft mechanic. And so it is true, these entry-level positions are, I would say, more challenging later in life. But I also think that having a positive outlook and just realizing that, I'm gaining really valuable experiences in both of those positions. There was times where I didn't like it, but overall, I was really fortunate to get the jobs, happy. that I was able to learn so much. I also have kind of this mindset that because I've bounced around so much with so many different jobs, now I'm working at the Census Bureau. They can't know that I'm working on Smokin Statues. It's a government job. And so all these different things that I now look at it that I feel like the employers are getting the short end of the stick here. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna, the truth is that my 40% is oftentimes worth than someone else's 100%, but that's not really good for the team. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so these are just things that I'm realistic about. I do with Simtrax. I didn't feel bad about moving on. Because of the way that company treats its employees. It's a very strange French company. This guy who's an executive with IBM, he's been in this space for 28 years and he's doing less than 2 million in sales. Stop it. Move on, please. And that's, as someone who's a struggling entrepreneur, I'm still reserve my right to judge people based on the fact that they are not talented.
I feel like what you realize when you get into the corporate world is there are just people who are good at being in that world.
Yeah,
it's not
absolutely.
Always about, most of the time it's not about skills, man. It's like most of the jobs I've been to, I get ahead because people like being around me. So period. I feel like I'm competent, but let's be honest. There are people who are twice as competent as me, twice as smart as me, but they're not hilarious. They're not, you know what I mean? They don't watch football. They don't play fantasy. Yep. So people are like, yo, I know you're good, but I'm like, I don't interact with you this age.
Sure.
So there are people who just know how to work that to, their advantage. And that's kind of where I'm like, dude, I don't even want to do this. Like, even though I know, I can laugh at these jokes and go hang out. It's like, then it's not about work. Yeah. Then if I'm doing this, why can't I just do this anywhere else? Why can't I just walk around and be a popular dude and I don't know, start a YouTube channel or something like?
Yeah. And there's always like, that's the sales aspect where it's like people want to talk to certain people and there's this relationship building aspect. And then because you build a relationship, you're able to teach them something. And that's where you bring the value. And over the two jobs where I was in technology sales, BDR, and then a solutions consultant, I one thing I was lucky, I had a sales leader that gave me this book called The Challenger Sale, and it talked about the difference between the relationship builder and then the challenger teacher. And I think that to be able to teach people stuff, you have to build that relationship. You have to joke around with them. You have to, they have to want to learn from you.
Yeah.
And so that desire from them to want to learn from you is where you're valuable, So I think there's a lot, to be said for people that are just they're nice to the people around them.
So in the midst of all this, you'd already had multiple things you work on. Where did Smokin Statues come from? Like, what was the spark? Because I know Straw is about straws made out of straw. You're from Maine. You know agriculture. You know how that goes down. Your the work which you can get to if you want to, like iGarage. Like you're very hands on stuff. I know. But when you told me about this, I was curious. Like, what was the idea bulb that popped in your head where you're like, all right, this is a thing.
Yeah, definitely. I guess we just bounced around, talked about a whole bunch of different stuff. It's probably hard for people to follow, but I'm very happy to talk about Smokin Statues and where the idea came from originally, and that is actually Germany. My mom remarried a German guy when I was 11 years old, and so I went over and lived in Germany for 2 years, and I found over there in a lot of places there was these little hand-carved, hand-painted figurines, and these were called Räuchermännchen. And for my German friends, they didn't think they were that cool because it's kind of like, some regular tradition, I don't know, like candy corn or something. It's just not that exciting if it's around everywhere. But for me, as an American who saw these hand-carved, hand-painted figurines, I was like, these things are amazing, and they just drew me in right away. I just really liked the different village characters that they had, the different characters that they painted, and the fact that there was this incense cone and it had smoke coming out of the mouth. So it really drew me in. And then basically, I just had this idea of adapting this for American artists, because the idea of having something that an artist can paint that's character art, that they can design themselves, is something that I knew that artists in the United States would really love.
So because at what point did you think you could make a business out of this? Was this mid you working on another one of the other businesses where you kind of like would play around with stuff, or at what point was like, no, I'm gonna do this?
Yeah, so it actually was something that I did before I went into the Marine Corps. Yeah, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, San Diego, right? Yeah. Okay.
So
Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's like, for example, this backstory. I don't describe this on the Kickstarter video or the YouTube video because there's just too much backstory.
Yeah,
and it's hard to follow. You know what I mean? So I stick with the German backstory and then this intergalactic origin story that we'll get to in a second after I finish describing really where this came from. And so basically, I was living in California and I was bartending over there, and I was managing a cell phone store. And this is after I'd moved over there because I was working in Maine, where I'm from, and there was a fire at our family business called Bennett Wholesale Florists. And this was in 2008, and it completely burnt down, and we were underinsured. So I didn't have work, and I decided I wanted to go surfing. So, which I'm not that good of a surfer still. I tried really hard. I'm still snowboarding. I'm from Maine. It's obviously going to be easier for me. But so I went over there to California, and one of the things that I started then over there was Smokin Statues, and I was selling these, and they were Rastafarian figurines.
Nice.
So these are completely it's a different thing. I basically, at that time, I took the German style and I made it for Venice Beach.
Okay.
And I was selling them on Venice Beach. I'd go there Tuesday mornings. There was a lottery, and that would determine the spot that you would have. And I was selling them over there, but the design that I had made had a flaw, and that flaw is that there was not enough airflow that would come from the bottom of the figurine that would bring the smoke from the incense to the top. And what that would do is it would put out the flame, and it would stop it from working. But I was able to sell them to 6 stores because the demonstration that I would do, kind of like this hustle that I would do to these smoke shops, and I didn't consider it a hustle really, because I was selling them the figurine and I was showing them that it worked. But I would also stop it right after the smoke came out through the mouth.
Yeah.
And what would happen is after a minute, it would go out. And so these stores, basically, some of them complained, and I did not have the money to reinvest to change the design, right? And initially, it was my fault that it got to that point, because the design that I had originally made had that problem solved through ventilation from the bottom, right? And I got this sample, and me being 21 years old at the time, I got the sample, and I was like, this is good enough.
Yeah.
And this is actually a life lesson for me, that good enough is not good enough. Because it was good enough for me to get into 6 stores, because I would hide the problem. You know what I mean? I would hide the fact that it would go out. And so after about 6 months of this process of selling them on Venice Beach, and I was working as a valet, I was working in a cell phone store, and I was working as a waiter, not all 3 at once, but and so things weren't working out. And I had a friend from Maine that would come visit me. He was stationed at Pendleton, which is close to LA. He would come up and we'd go surfing, we'd hang out. And then one time I went down there to his base and partied with a bunch of Marines. And then I was at the recruiting station the next week, and I went to boot camp a few months later. So that was, it was kind of the reason I joined the Marine Corps, was certainly an entrepreneurial failure. But that being said, there's also other reasons, like my desire to serve my country. But I think that's also true of anyone who goes in the military. There's never just one reason. And my story is no different. And it really also gave me the opportunity after coming out with more discipline, with more leadership skills, with more experiences, and having thought about so many of my ideas for 4.5 years.
So the whole time you're in the Marines, you're still like, yo, when I get it's
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So wow, that's so many things just popped into my head. So you'd always remembered this, and I remember you brought this up when you were working on your other things. What motivated you to prioritize this at the time that you did?
Yeah. Well, timing, because I really felt that the cannabis art market is growing, that all of these stores are popping up everywhere. They're selling somewhat similar products for this market. And the question is, after the boys and girls get high, what are they going to do? And it's not just that, because I don't smoke very often, and it's just for artists, right? And it's just a market that's really blowing up right now. And it's something that basically I knew that I could accomplish easier than the other projects. So
and I think it's awesome, but also just awesome that you keep your ideas. I remember when I was at Suffolk and I was working on my app, and it's end all be all for most entrepreneurs you meet. Like any idea they have, they're like, if this doesn't happen, I'm going to kill myself. And it's like, bro, like people would tell us like, yo, like they all don't work.
I felt that way.
They're like, yo, they're like all the professors, like not even professors, people like me, they're like, you could do other stuff. And you absolutely can. There is a timing component involved in all the stuff that we do. So I think it's super cool that you didn't forget any of this stuff, because full circle, crazy how these things come full circle. From 21 until now, I would have never thought we all thought we would be legal and things would ship, but I didn't think it would be like this.
Right. Yeah.
So the market now is insane.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, it's super crazy.
And artists of all kinds, right? The people are really putting efforts into their passions. They're doing it, what this program is all about, doing it on the side, making it work because you really care about it, putting in the time into your art, whether it be DJs, painters, all these different types of people want to represent their brand, want to put visual art out there. And Smokin Statues is basically visual art, and it's a way for artists to reach their audience, to give them something different at an affordable price. So. Yeah.
So if someone wants to do that, how do you even get started? I've never done anything related to merchandise. I've only done content related stuff for technology. Sure. So if you're like, all right, I want to do this, how do you even get started?
Yeah. So we are offering these at an affordable price for artists. And because of that, we're making them where all ceramic figurines are made, which is China. And the expertise is there, and that allows us to work with basically all of these different manufacturers who have been doing this for years to get the product just the way that we wanted it. So this ceramic bisque that we have here, it is a hardened ceramic bisque that is porous, and that allows you to paint it. Acrylic paints are the best, but all different types of paints are possible to use. And so the process is really working with all these different manufacturers, getting samples. The start is the design process. In that,
did you do that yourself? Yep. So do you have to 3D model this bad boy?
Exactly, yeah. Then think about how the two components are going to come together. And so this is basically the fit allows for the weighted head to just be snug. Yeah. And then this right here is this notch that allows for the airflow. And so you can see straight through to the top. Yeah. And then the apex of the cone sits right there, and it just exhales out the top.
Nice. Some trigonometry right there.
That's right. Yeah. So I need a math class.
I think it's super funny that when people hear made in China, you're just like, but folks don't understand. When I was at Suffolk, me and a couple of friends were going to make something for tourists. It was like a map. It was called Boston Uncharted. And we wanted to, we were just going to make a map that the map itself was cool. And you'd carry around, see different places. And we would just ask restaurants to be featured on it. $30 here, whatever. And I remember we were like, we got to get a map that's durable, foldable, kind of rubbery, water resistant. We listed 30 things. We hit up, I think it was through Alibaba. Like we hit up
AliExpress is how I'm. Yep.
we hit up merchants in China. Literally, we gave them the most vague things ever. They were like, "Oh yeah, we have this exact thing right here,
Right. Yeah.
for like 80 cents."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Wait, what?" And they're like, "Yeah, you just got to order a certain amount." People don't understand like that whole stigma. That's got to go. Like if you making stuff, you're not making it.
You couldn't make this for
in
an
Manhattan.
affordable price.
No.
I'd have to charge like $50 per figurine.
Yes.
It's something that we're making our figurines where they're made, and adapting our design to make it affordable for artists to be able to paint something and give to their friends, and we also know that. Well, okay, it's actually that we don't know what the future holds, right? So, like, if robotics are making everything a lot easier in 10 years, we're obviously going to be continuously looking at what the best way is to make our product, and currently there's no doubt about it. The best way to make it is in China, and we have great partners over there. I guess maybe Trump doesn't like it, or does Trump like it?
I don't know. It literally changes every single So how is it going now? Like I've gotten so much better at juggling duties between work and not work. Some of that maybe because of motivation has changed, but now because I've done it before, like I'm like, all right, cool. I can just do one thing, two things. Now that you've already done a bunch of other things that you can revisit, now that you're working on this, how is it at work now? Because your job's different from mine. I'm at a startup, whatever. Your job is totally different. So how is it rationing your time? Splitting duties and just making sure you're getting stuff done and.
Right now where I work, I can't do much, stuff at work. I mean, I get emails in and stuff, but I have to be careful because it's kind of a newer job. I was a census supervisor, which is a work at home position, I could just do whatever I want. It was amazing. And that was a really cool job because I was supporting these canvassers, and I like the mission of the census itself,
right?
Which is to get good data for us to be able to know who's where, and so that the money can be allocated equitably for the people who need it. So I really like the mission of the census. But to answer your question about working, on what's important to me and juggling my job. So my position before, work at home, amazing. And obviously I think all entrepreneurs search for those work at home jobs, to just have that flexibility. I think when I drove Uber for about a year and some change, about a year and 2 months, that was, it was really good for entrepreneurship because, I could stop at any time to make a phone call. I could, you schedule it and stuff, but you can just work whenever you want. And then also I would talk to people. I've probably gotten definitely, I'm going to say at least 20 followers on Smokin Statues.
Nice, dude. Nice.
Just, hitting people up. People want to talk. I'd say, well, about 40% people want to talk. And that's, as an Uber driver, that's a really important thing, to not talk to people who don't want to be talked to, because I'm that person too. And then it's just, so. Yeah.
How long have you been going hard once you jump back into Smokin Statues?
So I have been doing Smokin Statues for, 3 years, really, from the conceptual design to, December 2017. No, September 2017. But that time, I was working at that time I was a BDR still. I also did this Smokin Statues as a project for a class with Shil Bhatia. But the thing is, like, when you're doing the production aspect of it, I'm waiting for samples. So there could be 2 or 3 weeks where there's nothing to do. I just have to wait for the sample.
Yeah, true.
And then also the way that I've done this, I'm my entrepreneur. I do things my way. I'd love to do things other people's way because in terms of, like, I'm not yet successful, right? That's what I'm saying. But for me, I've had to market this and use my skills as a filmmaker. And I put a lot of time and effort into that. And I do think that is the right way for me to go about it with the resources that I have. I have a very limited marketing budget, but I have video skills. So we shot this intergalactic narrative origin story where this actress gets a figurine shot down from an intergalactic other dimension, and then she fights back, takes control, and brings art to life. Check it out, Mother Statues on YouTube.
Mother Statues, YouTube. We'll link to it.
Yeah. So, wait, I started by just putting myself down, saying that I suck.
What do you think is your favorite out of all the things you do? What is your what aspect of growing this do you enjoy the most? Is it the creative stuff? It sounds like it may be the creative stuff. Yeah.
That's why this is such a creative project. It's all art. It's all design. It's all connecting with artists. Yesterday, I was at a brewery and I talked to like 12 different painters. And that is actually something that I really like about this project, is that one of my big jobs is to just tell people that they're awesome. It's like what I do. Yeah. Your art is awesome. I love it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Come up with different, and it's true. I find artists I like. I tell them that their art is awesome, and then I have them paint figurines. Like that's the important thing that I have to do right now, because then people, like before people see them painted all different awesome ways, which you can see on smokinstatues.com. Smokinstatues.com and Smokin Statues on Instagram. Anyways, I should stop plugging stuff.
No, we're gonna plug. We're gonna plug like crazy.
Okay, sounds good. But yeah, the creative aspect is really fun. I spray paint them. I have a little studio in my apartment that I built with like some palettes and a bunch of carton paper. So
nice.
Just come by and check it out.
I got it. We gotta get that. We gotta get some of that film.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's your ideal exit for Smokin Statues? I feel like I know Straws. To me, that was your take over the world business, which it still can be. What about Smokin Statues? Because this one seems really strategic. You're like, all right, we're going to make these. We're going to put these in like specific stores from here to here to here, and go from there. Is it something where best case scenario, I'm just working here, doing this? Is it selling? Is it doing something else at the same time? I use so many hand signals.
I'll answer this one over here. And then over here. No, I totally get it. That's a good question, man. I think that working with talented artists is really what we want to do, and giving them a platform to sell their work. So I really see Smokin Statues as a blank canvas, a vessel for artists to reach their audience. And so it's a really awesome thing where the Instagram platform is perfectly set up for what we want to do. And the reason for that is because there's so many painters out there, there's so many visual artists out there, and we can connect and basically grow their network as we grow our network. And so, yeah, I mean, the long-term plan and, exit strategy, I don't have one, which as an entrepreneur, I obviously should. So I guess I'll explain that my goal is to sell a lot of figurines.
Yeah, I like
it. And go from there. I also really enjoy the environment of Smokin Statues, and I'll give you some other cool kind of long-term markets that we want to be in and ideas. There's a lot of arts and music festivals that are popping up, and a lot of live art events. And places where people go to watch artists create art, and we want to be there, and we want to be something where DJs can sell their designs on our statues. We want to have oversized statues to have as part of set designs with huge smoke machines billowing out the mouth.
Nice.
So just big like visual, just be a positive part of a fun art scene that we curate ourselves. Smokin Statues is an art collective, and there's a number of awesome artists that have painted Smokin Statues thus far. The one that you have right here is my neighbor Jose, who painted that, and that just shows like we have really talented professional veteran artists like Ian Tartaski, who painted one, and then you can just inspire people who don't really paint that much. The person next door just gets into it. So that's what we're all about.
So if there's any little tidbit of advice you can give to someone who's in your situation, minus Smokin Statues, someone who's thinking about doing something, they kind of have an idea, or they're working on something in the earlier stage, Well, what can you tell them? Maybe something about productivity, mental health. Any advice where you're like, no, you need to know this before you get into this?
It's hard with advice because I feel like one of the reasons why I'm still doing this is because I don't listen to advice. So, but
that's it. Don't listen.
Yeah. I mean, certainly don't stop. You know, if you see the position that I'm in right now, as a 33-year-old who is working a regular job and is ready to give all of the extra hours that I have towards something that I know to be an amazing opportunity. If that's you, then you shouldn't stop, you know. But if it's not, that's okay too. You know, I don't really see what I'm doing as anything other than what I have to do. I really feel that I'm more afflicted with entrepreneurship than it is. You know, I just couldn't not do it. And the idea of quitting, I mean, I've quit many times. I just stopped quitting. You know what I mean? So I don't quit, sure, but I mean, it's like that's hard. There's going to be times where you have to quit. You know, you can't dedicate that time. You have to work. You have to pay the rent. You have to. There's so many things that you might have to do other than the entrepreneurial passion that you have. And if you still have it after you have done all those other things, well, then don't stop.
Nice. Nice. All right. So now it's time we're going to reiterate all the useful links where people can find you.
Oh, all right.
So, all right. Now, this is the Kickstarter, website, Instagram, all that we're going to do now.
All right. Sounds good. So smokinstatues.com. Instagram is Smokin Statues. And then the Kickstarter is kickstarter.com/Smokin Statues.
It's a nice video, man. I've seen it. It's really cool. And I like the fact that I think that's the difference maker, man. Like there's people who are really good at business, but now like all this information we're being flooded with, all these businesses we're being flooded with, I click on creative stuff. Like when I'm on YouTube, everyone hates ads. When I see something that's like funny or just like beautifully done, I'm going to click on it. It's like you earned this.
Yeah.
So like that, you got to check out the Kickstarter. It's funny. It's definitely neat. Mother statue. I got to see that. I got to find that one.
Actually, if you're just looking to be entertained for 3 minutes, go on YouTube and click Mother of Statues. It's an intergalactic origin story. And for me, it's the coolest video I've ever made. We wanted to get weird, you know.
Nice.
Just coming from another direction. You know, you don't think about it too much. Just go with it.
Do it.
There's we shot it in different parts of Massachusetts, in Haverhill, and Lawrence, and Revere, and Chelsea. We got some cool abandoned buildings in there. We have a beautiful actor. She's Mother of Statues, and she fights back, takes control, and creates art. So check it out.
Nice. Alex, thank you.
Thank you, Joel.
Cool, man.
It's an honor. Seriously, I respect. I really look up to you. You know that, and you've always been an inspiration with Fit Us and what you're doing here with Moonlighters podcast. You know, I remember we worked together on Skills Club.
Oh yeah,
back of UPS.
Dude. And it's funny because there's like all this stuff we can get to at any point in due time. You're like, yo, that's good. But then you literally we just have another idea a week later.
That to me, that was Moonlighters pure. We were in the back of this UPS office, and we were just doing startup stuff. You know,
dude. Well, dude, we're gonna keep looking out for Smokin Statues, man. I'm gonna grab a couple. I can't paint. But whatever, I'll just pay someone to do it. I'll just task grab it. So for all of you, you can find all of our content actually in a variety of places. Always on the podcast, Moonlighters Club podcast. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast, except SoundCloud. It's not with it.
You don't need that. We're not a DJ. We don't need SoundCloud.
We're on YouTube. You can find not just interviews, but our showcases. So the live events that we've had in the past, we record all of those and put those out there. And then feel free to go to our website, moonlightersclub.com. It's where we'll find all the info. So all your links to podcast episodes, videos. You can also register if you want to speak on the Moonlighters Club, or if you know someone who does, all that right then and there. SEO game is crazy now. I literally sat down for like 3 days straight and updated the tags for everything. My tag game is insane.
Hell yeah.
It's work I don't ever want to do again. So, so again, Alex, thank you. This is super cool, man. We're gonna have to do an event. We're gonna have to get people like painting. I think it'd be super dope to mix up with some artists.
Yeah,
we've
definitely.
already interviewed a bunch. I think it'd be super cool.
Yeah, we've been doing events, and I'd love to do an event with you. Yeah, that would be great. Let's do it. Joel, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. And thank you everyone for listening again. We'll see you next time.
Later, guys.